Góðan daginn í Reykjavík frá Göteborg og Svíþjóð. My name is Lennard Bernram, and I have been working for the energy company in Gothenburg called Göteborg Energi for almost 40 years, with energy planning as operating manager and as head of the security department, but also as a teacher at Chalmers University of Technology for 30 years, teaching how to build an electrical distribution system and how to run it. Now I'm working for the city of Gothenburg with a project called Fundurinn, and I'll talk more about that later. Thank you for inviting me to this seminar, and I would like to use this opportunity to talk about two different ways to increase the possibility to deliver energy in a reliable way. First, I'll start with a hands-on method to cope with Mother Nature and the weather conditions we have to live with here in Gothenburg. As you might know, Gothenburg is situated on the front side of Sweden, on the west coast, close to the sea. We normally don't have the strong winds you sometimes have in Iceland, but when it's blowing more than 15 meters per second and no rain, we will have a growth of sea salt on the outdoors 130 kilowatt switchgear, resulting in electric arcs over the insulators. We have two big transformer stations in the western part of Gothenburg, which were built in late 60s, early 70s, and at that time, when strong winds were coming, the staff washed a measuring insulator clock with distilled water and measured the conductivity to see if it was possible to flush the switchgear under voltage with a fire hose, or if they had to disconnect it from the grid and flush it with the fire hose, or if they had to wash every insulator clock by hand. In the beginning of the 80s, the switchgears were equipped with an automatic watering system that rinsed the switchgear in a very intensive way. In fact, it was spectacular, especially at night with the whole facility illuminated. When weather forecasts said wind from southwest to northwest over 50 meters per second, the rain system should be on for 1 hour and off for 3 or 4 hours, and so on until the wind had abated. If the wind was over 24 meters per second, the rain was on for 1 hour and off for 1 hour, and so on as long as needed. With this method, we could maintain delivery of electricity in a secure way until 2 years ago. At that time, both switchgears were replaced with gas-insulated indoor switchgears, SFCs, and the rainmaking system were out of date. This was an example of a hardware method to have the energy system work in a secure way. Now I changed to a software method that gives us a possibility to deliver energy to socially important customers in times of shortage of power, and that is called Fundurinn. In Sweden, we have an excess of electrical energy, but sometimes we might have a lack of electrical power. For example, in winter, when there is no wind, cold, and the industry is running at full capacity. Or in summer, where seawater is too warm to cool down the nuclear plants. Before 2011, all customers were equal. The summer house and the hospital had the same importance, and it was against the law to favor a customer. When the only way to keep the nationwide electrical system alive was to disconnect customers, we could only make areas de-energized, not single customers. Then the law was changed, and the Swedish Energy Agency could start the initiation of Fundurinn. Fundurinn can be summarized as a planning process during which state authorities, county administrative boards, municipalities, and electricity network companies work together to develop data to be able to prioritize socially important electricity users with manual consumption disconnection. The purpose of the control planning is to ease the societal consequences that arise if the disconnection needs to be done when there is a power shortage. During the years 2004 to 2011, the Swedish Energy Agency, together with other authorities, developed the project. A first national planning round for Fundurinn was carried out in 2011. The Energy Agency shall initiate a national planning round every 4 years. We are right now working with a third planning round. The planning process starts when government agencies identify socially important activities and important electricity users in their own business and within their area of responsibility. Today, much of the socially important private and public authorities therefore need to interact with private actors within their sectors to obtain data on essential electricity users which they wish to prioritize. Identification and priority classification of socially important users are included in a document called Planning Document 1, which is then sent to the relevant county administrative boards. In this Planning Document 1, each socially important user is registered with name, address, and global service relation number, which is the GS1 identification key used to identify the relationship between the electricity network company and the user. This unique identifier is comprised of a GS1 company prefix, a service reference, and a check digit, in all a total of 18 digits. In the matrix with all data needed about the customer, we also must enter the priority of each customer. The Fundurinn regulation set out 7 priority classes. Actually, there are 8, but the last one is for the ones that is not prioritized at all. Highest priority has electricity users who already in the short term, hours, 1 to 3 hours without electricity, have a major impact on life and health. Second come electricity users who already in the short term have a major impact on functionality of society. Then come the 2 classes of users who have an impact on life and health and functionality of society if we have a lack of power for a couple of days, 3 or 4 days. Number 5 includes electricity users representing high economic values, big companies, factories, so on. Number 6 includes electricity users of major environmental importance. And number 7 includes electricity users of major importance for social and cultural values. The highest priority gives 7 points to the cable the customer is connected to, and the customer with high social and cultural values gives 1 point to the cable. Step 2 is when the county administrative board initiates, coordinates, and leads the work in the county. They also identify the socially important electricity users in the county according to step 1, from their point of view. This data is compiled with the input of other government authorities and then added to the Planning Document 1 and sent to the municipalities concerned. In step 3, the municipality identifies socially important activities and socially important users within the municipality's own business and within its geographical area. The work is carried out in cooperation with actors engaged in activities in the geographical area of the municipality. This may be, for example, actors in the health and transport sector, grocery store, or gas stations. Everything what is needed to run the city. When the municipality has set priority class on all identified socially important electricity users and added it to the Planning Document 1, it is sent to the relevant electricity network company in the municipality. Step 4 is when the electricity network company specifies which electricity line in planning document 1 the identified essential electricity user is connected to. They then send planning document 1 back to the municipality concerned. Step 5, based on the submitted data, the municipality makes a proposal for ranking electricity lines in the municipality and sends this to the county administrative board. This proposal is made in planning document 2. In this document, each cable has got a score depending on how many customers and their individual priority that are connected to that cable. Well, one must know that 5 customers of priority 5, high economical value, give more than twice the score of a hospital. And it is the municipality's responsibility to adjust for this and list the social importance customer in the right order. In step 6, the county administrative board, together with municipalities, are ranking the power lines in the county. And that's done in planning document 3. After the rating, the county administrative board imports the dossier into planning document 4 and returns it to the relevant electricity network companies. The county administrative board also sends planning document 4 with all the county's ranked power lines to the authority Svenska kraftnät. Svenska kraftnät is the authority responsible for ensuring that Sweden's transmission system for electricity is safe, environmentally sound and cost-effective. They also have the responsibility that the electrical system is in balance. In the last step, the electricity network company adds lines and installations that are crucial to their ability to deliver electricity in a secure way to socially important electricity users. This step concludes the control plan. The whole process takes about 2.5 years. But everybody is not working all the time. Perhaps you can get a better picture if we look at this flow chart. And we start up in the left-hand corner, and that's where the Swedish Energy Agency starts the process. Then we go one step to the right, and the state agencies put in the information from their fields in the planning document 1. And another step to the right, the county administrative board delivers information to the municipalities. They put in their information and delivers the planning document 1 to the network companies. And that's the last step to the right. The network companies put in the cables and then returns it to the municipalities. And then we go one step to the left. The municipality prioritizes the cables and delivers it to the county administrative boards. The last step to the left, in the middle of the page, and they do the documents 3 and 4 and gives the prioritizing for all cables in the county, and they hand it over to the networks and then to Svenska kraftnät. When Svenska kraftnät realized that we have a lack of power, they would give an order to 9 control rooms in Sweden to start Fundurinn, and then they have 15 minutes to execute it. Fundurinn has never been used in practical life in Sweden, but for every day we are coming closer to the day it will be tested in real life, and we have been very close at several times. We do have lots of electrical energy in Sweden, but sometimes we don't have so much power, and it will be very interesting to one day test Fundurinn the hard way. Thank you for listening.